can you draw on that familiarity with the defense?
I mean, we know that it's gonna be a tight game. The last couple of years, obviously they've been, kind of boxing matches, taking a couple hits here or there, giving them out. They're extremely well coached. They're a very talented group on defense. They got a Hall of Fame quarterback over there, so we got to be, on top of our game and go out there and try to execute to the best of our abilities. But we know that they're going to bring it. Game one, they were extremely good last year. They're going to be extremely good this year. So we know that. And again, we gotta go out there and execute.
Hey Jeff, last year would you admit that at times you guys did struggle to run the ball in situations where you really had to run the ball. Do you think that's going to be better this year? What have you seen so far to make you think it could be better this year?
Yeah, I mean we're a group that's going to do whatever it takes to try to win a football game. I don't see that, being a problem. And it's hard to know. It's hard to run the ball when a team knows you're going to run the ball. So. Obviously, we can improve in a lot of different areas in the passing game as well. But again, whatever's asked upon our guys, they're going to go out there and do it, and we're going to try to go out and execute. And again, that's my job as a quarterback to not really put us in the right position every play, but get us out of the bad situation. So, we'll see on Sunday. We're excited. Again, it's going to be a slugfest, and we know that we're going into a game. Again, the last few games at halftime, I think it was like 6-7, 10-7, something like that in the last two games. So that we played against them, and. We don't expect it to be anything else.
Josh, you've told us in the past that your expectations for yourself are higher than anybody else's, but as a team, you have as high of expectations as anybody else. So how do you manage that, especially as the guy who leads this team?
Well, I mean, it all starts week one. It's 1 week at a time approach, and Coach talks about our standard, which is playoff caliber. And, in order to win the whole thing, you gotta get into the playoffs, and in order to get into the playoffs, you got to win probably 10, 11 games, and the most important one's the next one. And again, it's a team that's dang good, and we know that. So again, it's all focused on Pittsburgh Steelers, and to be honest, I couldn't tell you who we play next. It's been all of them for the last few weeks now.
Josh, how difficult is it to prepare for Minka Fitzpatrick with everything he can do in the defensive backfield?
Yeah, I mean, he's a ball hawk. One of the best safeties in the league. He just switches up his style. Every couple of plays, you don't know if he's dropping into the box or if he's trying to play over the top on something. But he's always around the ball. Whether it's a fumble that's forced by one of the other guys, it just seems like it's popping up right into his chest. And when the ball's in the air, he's got as good ball skills as anybody in the league. So making sure that we're focused on where he's at, his depth from the line of scrimmage. But he's one of those guys that can wreck a game plan. So we got to figure it out early, come game time. But it's always fun playing against guys with that type of caliber and putting yourself against that test.
Speaking about game records, bad news, disappointing. It looks like Watt might be able to play this weekend with his contract situation, according to what Lee Thompson had to say today.
No, I had no idea. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's an unbelievable player. They got a ton of guys on that defense, man. They're just so good. So, we expected it to be that, but we know that matchup's not going to be easy for us, and we got to figure out ways to try to limit his his impact on the game.
Obviously, there's been limited fans throughout the preseason, obviously the playoffs last year, but just the atmosphere you're expecting for Sunday.
It's going to be awesome. I got to probably drive in a little early and try to beat the traffic, but to have Bills Mafia here with us this year, I know they're excited, but as players, we're equally as excited to get them back in the stands, and they'll have an impact on the game whether they think so or not. Those third downs, if you can force one false start or one delay of game or one penalty, that can change the course of a game, and especially with the game that we expect to go into with these guys, which is, like I said, the last few times we've played them, it's been a close, tough battle, and again, we don't expect anything else.
Hey Josh, do you ever find yourself looking at all the things that are being said about this team? You guys are Super Bowl. Some people will pick the winner. Do you find yourself looking at it? And if you do, how do you rein it in a little bit?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you who's said anything about us. I'm focused on, like I said, week one against the Steelers and trying to be the best quarterback and the best teammate that I can be for this team. But again, we've got lofty goals. It don't matter what anybody else says about us or what we're going to accomplish. Like it's ultimately up to us and what we do on the field, and we're excited to get out there on Sunday.
Josh,
The perceptions
has it been
out
more
there are
difficult
different,
to
though.
shut that stuff out?
Say it again?
More difficult to shut that stuff out when it's so positive, when I'm sure everybody knows saying, hey, look at what this person said about how great you are, how far this team is going to go. Is it harder to shut that out when it's so positive around you?
Not really. Again, we got guys that are professionals that care about their craft. They come into work every day and they just put their hard hats on and go to work. And it's a cool environment that we got here. And the locker room that we got is really unbelievable. I think it's one of the tightest knit groups in the league, if not the tightest knit group in the entire league. But it's just fun to get out here and work with the guys. And we got the best jobs in the world. So we come out here, we have fun. At the end of the day, we want to win games. And we're, like I said, we're excited to get out there on Sunday and show that.
You guys used to thrive on an underdog mentality. It's fair to say, though, that you can't really draw on that because you're no longer underdogs. You're now respected. You're no longer disrespected. How do you alter that? Is there an altering of a mindset or approach there now that you are known as having the targets on your head?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't win the whole thing last year, so we know that there's more work to do. And to hear stories, from guys like Dave's and even like a guy like Emmanuel, guys that have won it, the feeling that they get, and it's something that I dream about, having that type of feeling. So that's what drives us every day.
Josh, you were 7, I think, when Ben was drafted. Guy that you were kind of compared to a little bit when you were coming out. Bigger body, tough to bring down. What do you remember about growing up and watching him?
Well, I mean, you just see the physical ability that he has, whether it's driving the ball downfield or being able to throw 3 techs off of him. But actually, one of my coaches was a teammate of his in college at Miami of Ohio, and the similarities: small school, big frame guys that can throw it a little bit, and I've gotten the chance to meet him a couple times, and he's awesome. The way that he carries himself, he's in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer. I know he's got a lot of respect from a lot of guys around the league, but watching his game back in the day, he was just like the play was never over. It's never over with him, and he's able to find ways and escape and kind of get the ball out in some just funky ways, and he's never had a play just given up on him, and he's never given up on a play. So he was super fun to watch. He still is super fun to watch, and it's always a blessing going against, like I said, a guy of these types of calibers of player, especially what the Steelers got.
All right, Josh, is it true that Mario hasn't terrorized you at practice?
No, never. He hasn't impacted one play all camp.
All right, cool.
Hey Josh, what is it from a quarterback's perspective? What is it about Tremaine that makes him so difficult to throw against when he's dropped back?
You see his length. He's unbelievable. Like you see him stand there and he's like, okay, that dude's big, but then he moves around. His limbs are so much longer than you think, and he's able to jump and move, and he's super fast, and he's all over the field. And it's going into year 4. We were drafted a few spots away from each other, and to have a guy, like him, it's fun to play against him. But I can see why it wouldn't be fun to play against him as well for the other teams, because he's getting smarter, and like coach has done an unbelievable job of bringing in guys this offseason. He's been learning from them and been asking the right questions, and it's going to be fun to watch him continue to take steps and grow even more as a player this year.
His attributes, has it ever dissuaded you from making throws?
Oh, absolutely, especially down in the red zone. I mean, he covers so much ground, and I can't again understate or overstate. I don't know what I should use there, but how fast he is. He's fast.
The 3rd year in a row you're a team captain. How have you changed your leadership style since maybe that first year you were captain?
I mean, just being, I guess, more vocal, having more knowledge, and just learning from the guys in front of me, in the past, and Coach Dable and Coach Dorsey, just understanding, people and relationships too. Just being able to dive in and be one of the guys to continue to be that. And again, I have so much fun when I'm here. I think I hope it rubs off on guys, and they enjoy this game as much as I do, because, like I said, it's the best job in the world. But I feel like I've stayed pretty true to who I am so far in the first few years, and I try to keep it light, but I also like to put my head down and work.
How much have you talked to Matt Barkley this summer, and how many times this week will you guys play that little video clip with him against Pittsburgh?
The Renegade, yeah, I know. That was a cool moment. But I talked to him probably a couple weeks ago, and I know he was back in California this last weekend. But love that guy, miss him. But I know he's with Tennessee now, and I'm sure we'll see him later down the road too.
Knowing the expectations that you have for yourself and this team has in general, do you feel any pressure?
I don't. The goal hasn't changed, from the first day I stepped here, and it's not going to change, until I'm gone. We want to win the whole thing, and again, we understand what it takes to get there, and the front office has done a great job of bringing in the right guys to try to accomplish that goal, and ultimately, it's up to us to go and do it, and we're excited to get this journey started.
Josh, I'm sure for any offense there's a balance of you want to build off what worked well, but also you want to throw in new things for the opposing defense. Does that feel any different this year when a lot worked well last year, but teams might be watching more and more of that?
Yeah, it's just Coach Dable does such a good job of incorporating different types of concepts and ideas. And if it's something that we don't like, and I tell him we don't like it, it's thrown out, and we don't have to use it. So he's very game plan oriented, and every week's a new challenge, and it's a different opponent, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. We got to find ways to move the ball and score points, and that's ultimately the job of the offense, is score as many points as possible. So, he does a really great job with that, and he's super open and down to listen to what some of the players have to say about different concepts and routes and ideas and stuff like that. And I think that's why guys love him so much, is that he wants to find new ways to get the ball to each and every guy on the field.
How quickly were you comfortable with that and telling him, no, I don't like that?
No, it's extremely comfortable now. Yeah, obviously, I'm kind of a people pleaser, and early in my career, I'd be like, oh, or whatever, coach, run it, and we'll make it right, even though I didn't feel comfortable with the play. But now, if it's like I don't love it, we're not running it.
Josh, when you were describing Ben's game, I'm sure it's not lost on a lot of people that it's similar to yours in some ways, that the play is never over. You make some funky throws that work. How much did you draw from him in having those similar attributes that you just described him as?
Yeah, I think it's more than I even realized as a kid, just watching. Like I said, I watched a lot of football when I was a kid, and he was one of the biggest names out there and still is. But the way that he plays the game, again, like I see the comparisons of where we're at physically. But again, that's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I got some time to go before we get to that conversation of comparing me to one of the greatest of all time. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.